Today's podcast is brought to you by Introduction to Online Business Made Simple, a 6-part audio course that teaches you how to get started with your online venture. Find out more at usingyourpower.com/course.
Hi, my name is Maveen, and you are listening to Using Your Power.
And I'm David Wiebe.
How's it going, David?
I'm powered up, man. How are you?
Awesome. I just wanted to give our starting a little bit of different feel.
Why not? Try things out.
Exactly. So what are we talking about today?
How to become a better problem solver.
Hey, there you go. Maybe that's why I did it.
Yeah, maybe not.
Probably not. All right, man. So why do we bring up this topic today?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about outside the box thinking, time and money, how to work around problems. So it's really an extension of those episodes and really to add maybe another layer of icing to the whole thing.
Awesome. I love it. So, I'll start it off, I guess. One of the things I was thinking about, if you want to, become a better problem solver, sometimes it's better just to sit on the problem. We've heard that all before. One of the things I like to do sometimes is sit down and meditate and really think through the problem while I'm meditating, sitting down by myself. It allows me to search within myself for an answer, as well as I think it allows me to open up to, the woo-woo universe and have some answers come into me. Maybe when I'm sleeping, I tend to do that typically when I'm looking for answers right before I go to bed. So maybe it'll come to me in a dream, or I'll wake up with an answer. Sometimes when they say sleep on it, that's kind of what they mean.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. Just calm down, take a breath, take a moment, try to relieve the tension in your body and in your mind, let it all go, meditate or take a shower or something like that, and just let ideas come to you instead of going with the first thing that came to mind. And that's, I have said this before, but even in movies, we see reflections of this, like people will make up their mind about how to solve a certain problem with the first thing that comes to mind, which is like stripping or killing people or robbing a bank. And I just think it's absolutely insane that we don't consider alternatives before we go and act. My first point is just to brainstorm and make a list of ideas before you do anything else. Get that whiteboard in front of you, or a yellow legal pad if you're using that like I am for my to-do list. Get a piece of paper out, start brainstorming, come up with a list of ideas of how to deal with that situation.
I like that idea. You develop as many ideas you think will solve the problem, and then you can really go through each problem, especially if you're looking at business or in real life, right? And say, if you're dealing with, let's say, for example, overweightness, right? So you can say, okay, what am I doing wrong? Let's look at all the things that will help me lose weight. So, maybe diet, exercise. You start listing all the things, and maybe it's something that psychologically, that's the reason maybe you can't lose weight, right? So you can start looking at all those things and say, okay, I can definitely clean up my diet. I'll do this. I'll make myself a meal plan. Maybe I need to exercise. Okay, next problem. Okay, maybe I'm not running or walking at all. I'm sitting down 8 hours a day. Okay, I need to get up maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. Start there. And if you're, for example, someone told you you're fat and you're always going to be fat and it's a psychological thing, maybe you need to go talk to somebody and so you can help work through those problems. But you have a great point, right, David? Write it all down and then figure out if your solutions will actually solve your problems. If not, move on to the next one.
Exactly. What's your next point, Matt?
Oh, great. I kind of lost track of my turn. One of the things I say, sometimes when you're, writing all these ideas down is, try one of the ideas, see what happens. I've said this in many different episodes. I think this technique really works very well. Try it. And if it doesn't work, you'll fail. Absolutely. We get it. And then adjust it. Try something a little different, maybe tweak it, figure out why it didn't work, and then try it again. And then maybe you'll succeed. And once you succeed, you've then been able to solve your problem. But, as many times as you need to fail to succeed, that's how the light bulb was invented from what I understand. I've been kind of told, it was, 10,000 or 12,000 times it didn't work, but the one time it did, and now the world has changed, right? So it was try, fail, adjust, and then finally success.
Yeah, and hopefully as you're going down your list and trying ideas, you start with the ones that don't violate God's laws or, the real life laws that are out there. I mean, I would suggest starting there before we go and resort to desperate measures. Another great thing you can do is ask friends and family for feedback. I mean, it's easy to be prideful, but you'd be surprised by how many people have been in the situation that you've been in, whether it's acquiring a property that they probably never should have, like a timeshare or something like that, trying to get out of that kind of deal, being harassed by creditors. people have been through a lot of things, and you might be surprised to find out that they have great advice and tips for you.
Absolutely. One of the things I think it was kind of right along the same lines as I had was, sit down with people, like meet up with people and listen to what their problems are. So a little bit reverse. So actually go find people who have problems and listen to what they have to say. And then ask them questions and then help them logically work through solving their own problems. You can do that for friends. You can do that for family members. You can do that for complete strangers, really. You just have to be willing to do that. Maybe that's your business.
I like that too, and this just occurred to me, so it's a bit of a sidetrack. But I guess women don't always want their problems solved, right? They just want to be listened to, and sometimes guys just need to be listened to too. So don't get me wrong, but that might be another thing to keep in mind. So us guys will try to solve absolutely everything. Maybe don't do that in every situation, especially if you're talking to a significant other.
Oh, I agree with you, David. Fully right.
Yeah. Another thing we can always do is ask experts for feedback, and you can try the A list, B list, C list. I don't really care. You could try all of them, because these days you can email most of them. You can connect with Twitter if they're not on email, and you can typically find one way or another, even if it's just listening to their podcast and finding out where their speak pipe is. There might be a way to get a question to them and to get it answered by somebody who has a lot of knowledge and experience.
Yeah, I really love that idea. It kind of works right within my next point too, David. One of the things we can do out there is hire a professional. For some reason, I believe we all think we're experts in everything we've ever done or tried.
It's true.
It's been kind of drilled into our heads since I think we're in elementary that if you can't accomplish something the first time you do it, if you didn't get first place in that run, you're not good, you're no good, right? So we've been always kind of told that if you're not good right away, you won't make it, right? But even if that's true, let's say, then go find someone who is good at it, right? Go find a professional. The things that the professional can do for you, is going to be able to help solve your problem. Maybe they'll also be able to help you save time and save some money and a whole bunch of headache, right, as well, that can be associated with that problem as well.
Yeah, coaches, teachers, mentors, professors. You can definitely connect with a lot of different people that might be able to help you in that way. You can also, use Google or whatever else to research what others in your situation have done in the past. And you may find that, whatever you're struggling with or whatever you're dealing with right now is not as big of a deal as you thought it was as you begin to talk to other people. I know I've heard family members say this before. Oh, bankruptcy is not the worst thing in the world that you can do. Fair enough. I still wouldn't want to declare bankruptcy unless I was in that situation, and hopefully I would consider my alternatives before getting there. But if I absolutely had to, nice to know it's not the worst thing in the world.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I know my parents had to do that.
Oh man!
When we used to live in Montreal, but I mean, it is what they had to do. And again, it was a business, not personal, so it was a little different again, right? So, but they had to do it because again, the economy, right, wasn't anything to do with themselves, right? Their business had been hit by two separate recessions, right? I know right now in Alberta, worldwide as well, we're in a kind of a recession, is what we've been told, and we can see that bankruptcies have gone up since then as well, right? And again, I think people have found ways to solve that bankruptcy problem. There's ways that you can go talk to people and they can help you, instead of paying your full debt, you only pay a percentage of your debt, so you don't have to declare bankruptcy. And, and then because typically if you do, I believe you can't do anything for about 7 years anyways in North America, right? So again, that's usually your last resort. I think you're right, David.
In terms of credit, yeah, I think that's all you can do for 7 years, and then you can begin to rebuild your credit. But cash is still, something you could utilize in that situation. But yeah, first consider your alternatives.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I was thinking about was, when you said Google earlier, David, one of the things that we do is we do definitely just go out there and Google everything, right? And the nice thing about Google or Bing or whatever platform that you're using for your search engine is there's tons of blogs out there and there's tons of podcasts out there, and there's lots of different articles that you can read or different podcasts that you can listen to that can help you solve your problem, that are written by people who are, authoritative in that industry or in that problem-solving, solution-based, place, right? So they can definitely help you do that. So if you read enough articles, you can definitely get some pointers on how to become proficient at solving your own problems. Again, if you're not able to, the last thing you can also do is potentially attend a seminar. I think you said something along that line as well, David. You can attend a seminar, which is also going to have lots and lots of different people there. You'll be able to talk to a lot of different people who are maybe in your same situation that can also tell you what they've done or what they've tried and how that's made them feel and how that's worked for them. them, and really find ways to connect with people to solve your own problem. And hey, you know what, like I said earlier, is maybe if you listen to other people's problem, not only will you help them solve their own problem, but you'll solve your own.
Yeah, and it's so funny how sometimes people are casual about problems that you think are mountains, right? And one time, it was in 2008 when I was kind of having my bout with anxiety, but I was invited to a movie theater. So we went to see an IMAX, and I thought, hey, that's a fun way to relax and get together with friends or whatever. Oh man, I mean, it just caused some anxiety to well up in me because, we're sitting there in front of the screen and I feel like I'm kind of trapped in. And so I step out of the theater and, I kind of catch my breath for a second. And then a girl comes by and is like, so why are you sitting there? And I was like, oh, I'm just kind of feeling a little bit anxious watching it. She's like, oh, I've had tons of panic attacks watching movies. I'm like, okay, I wouldn't want that myself. So, that's why I kind of got out of that situation. I was able to watch the movie standing up, still can. Movie theaters, still not maybe the best place for me, but generally I'm better than I was.
Right on. And, back in 2008, this was almost 10 years ago, but if you had known what you know today back then, you would have probably asked her a few more questions. You said, how do you deal with your panic attacks, and how are you able to sit through movies and all these things? So, I mean, it was a great thing. Once you have that knowledge behind you, I know, David, now you would absolutely, find that person, ask that person those questions. But before, of course, maybe not focusing on it 10 years ago, right? So,
absolutely. And then my final point, which might be a slight bit controversial, especially based on our history and everything we've said, but it's to start a business or join network marketing. And network marketing has that built-in system of mentors and upline and people who've gone through the struggles you've gone through, debt, selling a house, unable to pay their mortgage, unable to pay their car payments. Trust me, anybody that's joined that business, I shouldn't say anybody, but probably just about anybody that's joined that business has dealt with some kind of financial struggle in the past and can give you tips and advice on how to solve it. And if they don't know, they can always go further up the chain, ask somebody else who might know, and then you'll have an answer that comes down from the top that probably could help you. So it is a great system for that kind of stuff. And you'll also be surrounded by people who are all trying to problem solve their budgets, figure out their lifestyle, how they're going to build a business while they're living life, how they're going to build a business while working a job. There's tons of problem solving in network marketing. And that's the reason why I would suggest something along those lines, maybe as not your first resort, but something to consider.
I like that idea. It's very different, right? Telling somebody to, or suggesting, not maybe telling, but someone to join a network marketing business, right? I know at least the ones marketing that we were a part of that, yeah, you're right. They were, helping you out in places that you weren't able to maybe understand how to get out of certain problems. Again, you're right. I think you should definitely talk to somebody who has gone through the problem, not somebody who's just getting the information from their upline and bringing it to you, right? And don't take suggestions from people who don't understand your position or really don't understand what your next position or what your goals are, right? If you're going to problem solve with somebody who really has a vested interest in what happens to you, and I know joining some sort of network marketing business is going to allow you to have that, because whoever's your upline, they do have a vested interest in your success, as though we are told, right? I know there's certain things that we've seen that it seemed like they did but they didn't, but I mean, that's different groups have different leaders, so definitely find the leader in your group that you best connect to, and then join that network marketing group, and then get those help from there. And then you're also able to build a business on the side, like you were saying, David, which can be an additional great thing. Unless business is what's stressing you out, or people are what's stressing you out, then maybe that may not be the best idea. But some really good points there, David.
Well, no, those are some fantastic things and caveats to keep in mind. Did you have any other points?
I have no more points on what you should do to become a better problem solver. But, I think talking to people, generally, friends, family, having open discussions, be open to discussing what your problems are with people. More and more, I think people are just holding things inside and they don't really tell people how they feel or what's bothering them, or, how they're being, they're going to lose their job. They're not sure how they're going to get by. If you just talk to people and openly and let them solve your problems or help you talk let you talk so you can solve your own problems. I know you're saying that about men for sure, right? We're hardwired to want to solve everybody's problems, right? I know sometimes I do that with all my friends. I just kind of say, I hear something, I say, oh, you should just do this, man. It'll be done, right? And as a guy, it's so easy because we're just listening and saying, hey, I know the answer. This is what I would do, so why don't you do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's worked for me, but you don't know their full situation. And definitely for women, don't try to give any problem-solving advice unless you're asked, right? You're right, David. 100%. A lot of women. I know when I was reading the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. That's the one thing that's said in that book too, right? Is women just want to be listened to, and they really want to know that they can just get things out of their chest, and they'll problem solve themselves, or they'll come ask you. So great point, David.
Yeah, and I think you'll get better with practice too. Like if you're walking this path of entrepreneurship, there just comes a point where you say, get to the point, and you want others to get to the point, and then you begin to request that of yourself too. I should get to the point when I'm talking to others. And yeah, I mean, there's time and place for long drawn out webinars that are really boring, that talk nothing about talk nothing about the product, but just talk about the author of it. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I think you get to that point where you are more forthcoming in your feelings and what your thoughts are. And I think that's a good place to be.
Yeah, for sure, David. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I just thought of one other point that when you were saying that, one of the other things that can solve your problem sometime is just go out there and get started. I think so many times we don't start because we feel we have to have all our ducks in a row. But sometimes if we just start and we just keep trying and start moving forward and try to solve our own problems, or just get started in a business, or, you'll start figuring out how to solve your problems. Your brain is hardwired to figure out how to solve problems, especially if you're a guy. I can't say if it's hardwired for a woman to solve problems because I'm not a woman. I'll definitely have to ask the ladies that are listening to the show to let us know what you think about problem solving. Men helping you out or women helping women out, right? I know women do a very good job and to listening to other women talk and helping each other and just providing great support. And sometimes that's all people are looking for is support and not for an answer.
Yeah, that's great because we don't really want to get stuck in analysis paralysis either.
That's correct.
Yeah. All right. So find us online at usingyourpower.com. Leave a comment, send us a message, download our free audio course, or even purchase our not free audio course, and check that out as well.
Absolutely. Go to usingyourpower.com/course and follow the links, and hope you have yourself a great day.